We're talking about price. Okay, so tell me which players you like at these positions in these price ranges. Pitcher at 8K or up. Who are you going to be spending up for, Kenny?
Look, Jewel, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I can't spend $8,000 on this slate. I can't get excited about Zach Wheeler in a bad spot here. None of these pitchers seem attractive to me. So I'm going to try to honor the question the best and take a high-priced pitcher that's almost $8,000. And it's Tyler Mahle at $7,500. Look, 5 innings, just 2 earned runs against the Cardinals in his first start of the year. He had 9 Ks. He gets to face one of the worst lineups in baseball in the Diamondbacks, aside from like opening day when they had like 5 solo homers or something like that. They really have just had a very tough time scoring scoring runs. And also when you look at the fact that they got shut out at Coors Field, how many teams do that? I mean, that's ridiculous. His strikeout rate has gone up every year since he's been in the majors. 3.40 xERA last year. Did a great job of limiting hard contact. His whiff rate was in the 86th percentile. Everyone loves Tyler Mahle. Everyone thinks he's going to break out this year. They've been waiting for the breakout year for like 4 years now. But look, he's a talented pitcher. I don't know if he'll ever put it all together over the course of a season. But against the Diamondbacks here at $7,500 behind a good lineup, I think this is a really great spot.
Okay, Julian, are you excited at a pitcher that is over 8K?
Yeah, I mean, normally we're doing this question with over 10K. So like it's a weird slate. Everybody is under $10,000. I think just speaking overall, I'm with Kenny. Like your eyes probably go to just build around some value pitchers on this slate because there's no studs that you have to pay up for, and we can use that value on some bats. I think Tyler Mahle's in a great spot at 7,500. That was the first guy I looked at. The Diamondbacks lineup stinks. He's a great guy to roster. I'll answer the question to answer the question. If I'm going to spend over 8K, I kind of hope people get tricked and sucked into Zach Wheeler, who had that 40 DK point start against this exact Braves lineup the first time around. So you go, oh, he's going to be good against them again. Now on the road in Atlanta, really good Braves lineup. This is a big letdown spot for him, most likely. So I hope eyes go there. I'll maybe take a chance on a guy in a rematch like Lance McCullers for Houston. They're at home now, going against that the Oakland A's lineup that just hasn't been hitting all season. He had 24 DraftKings points in that matchup the first time around. Not that you want to put too much weight in that, just like Wheeler, but if I did it, I would probably pay $9,100 for McCullers and pair him with Tyler Mahle.
All right, let's talk about hitters, okay? A guy over 5K, Jules, who's got you excited?
Yeah, well, we probably have a decent amount to spend on bats on this slate if we're going to be building around pitchers, potentially even both of them under 8K, like Kenny was talking about. I kind of like going back to that idea of hopefully people trust Zach Wheeler after that first performance. I want to get some exposure to these Braves bats against him. So I think going with Ronald Acuna Jr. at 5,600 is a spot that makes a lot of sense to me. And breaking the rule a little bit like Kenny did at 4,900 right there. Freddie Freeman, not off to a good start this season at all. He's hitting 111. He hits almost 500 in his career against Zach Wheeler. Not that you want to put too much stock into BVP. Hopefully, thankfully, Steve's not here to make fun of me. But it's a good, decent sample size of a couple of veterans that have been in the same division for a long time, and Freeman hits him really well. So I think this is a good bounce back spot for him getting Freeman cheap.
You guys just keep changing the rules. All right, Kenny, hitter over 5K.
Hey, I don't blame you for the BVP. I mean, there's a lot of great Braves bats in that lineup, and they have all hit Wheeler very well over their career. I don't mind going with some Braves bats as well. I think this is going to be a little chalky, but when we're talking about high-priced hitters, I don't think there is anybody better than Jose Ramirez in a spot which Julian, I'm sure, would agree is great against Julio Teheran, one of maybe the worst pitchers in baseball right now. He's red hot coming off that 2-homer game, but when you look at his body of work, first of all, I think this is like the least talked about player coming off being second in MVP voting ever. Like the guy almost won the MVP last year. And I think it's because maybe the Indians haven't been that great. We're not really talking about Jose Ramirez right now, but look, he's averaging 95 miles an hour off the bat. He has 2 barrels already in 18 that he's put in play, just a 9.5% strikeout rate. This is the guy this is the kind of player that I love. He makes a lot of contact. He makes a lot of good contact. He's got that power potential, and his OPS is just slightly higher against righties than it is against lefties. Of course, he's a switch hitter. He'll be playing from the left side today. I like him to have a big game against Julio Teheran, who just has allowed a boatload of hard contact over his career, especially over the last 2 games, especially the last time these 2 teams played. He got incredibly lucky just to give up 1 run. I think the Indians beat him up today. I love the team total for them as well, but I love Jose Ramirez here in this spot, 5,700.
All right, let's talk about, a hitter in the 4 to 5K range. So moving down a little bit here, Kenny, who are you looking at?
I'm sticking in the same game with the same lineup. Eddie Rosario, $4,000 to $300. He's going to get clean up here. Again, he's hitting from the left side here against a bad right-handed pitcher. We know this guy can mash. He's a 471 X WOBA on the year, which is incredibly good. He's hitting the heck out of the ball. And that's really been the story for the Cleveland Indians. They've made a lot of hard contact. They've made a lot of contact in general, but it hasn't resulted in runs, hits, even wins really. So I think that it's coming for the Indians. I think that this is a big game for them. I think they score a lot of runs here. And I think Eddie Rosario in the middle of that lineup is in a great spot. The last time he faced Julio Teheran back at the beginning of the season, he had a homer and then he had a sac fly, which traveled 102 miles an hour that had a 78% hit probability. So you're very much looking at a guy that probably was coming off a homer and double against the same pitcher who stinks. So I like Eddie Rosario a lot in this spot. $4,300 is very cheap for him.
All right, Jules, you've already sort of dipped down into this range, but who else you got for me?
Yeah, I mean, Freddie Freeman, he's a guy that I would definitely look at in this range in a bounce back spot. Sticking with the same theme a little bit, another guy that's $4,900. Anthony Rendon is a guy that generally can be up in that high $5,000 range, and because he's done virtually nothing to start the season, he hasn't scored double-digit DraftKings points in a game yet. He's now down below 5K. These are the guys early in the season, just overall, that I want to get exposure to, because Freddie Freeman's not going to have a bad season. Anthony Rendon's not going to have a bad season. They just happen to be starting the season in slumps. So when you can get those guys in good matchups with their salary, let's see, Rendon was $5,600 on opening day. That's a $700 discount for a little bit of a slump that we know he's going to break out of at some point. It's batting cleanup in a good Angels order. Decent matchup. These are the type of guys that I'm looking to get exposure to, because I think Rendon and Freeman are guys that generally would be answers for that 5K plus question. And now we get them at a discount.
All right, let's talk even bigger discounts. How about a value bat, Jules?
Yeah, there's some decent ones on the board. Here's one that I haven't really been able to figure out this season. I rostered them on opening day for like below 2,000. I didn't even know. I've been working with DraftKings for 6 years now. I didn't even know bats could be below $2,000. Nomar Mazara is now $2,000. He made it all the way up. His price has gone up to $2,000 for the Detroit Tigers. I know Kenny's all about the Indians today, and that's fine, but value is value. If he's going to continue batting 5th in this order in an opposite hand matchup, he's got a couple double-digit DK point games under his belt already this season. The Tigers should be cheap. It's not the greatest matchup in the world, but I don't know how you can have a guy hitting 5th in an opposite-handed matchup for $2,000. So just give me that every time.
Kenny, what about you? Value bat you looking at?
Hey, whoa, I love it. Julian knows better than anybody. I've been on the Tigers almost all season long. And you notice, I said Cleveland's team total. I didn't say anything about the Tigers. I like their matchup here against Zach Plesac, which is why I'm going to go with, maybe he's a little too expensive here, but you want to talk about lineup position. He was batting 9. He moved up to 7 last time. I think there's a good chance he could either hit 6, maybe even 5, and usurp our boy Nomar Mazara here. I do like finding some value bats on the Detroit side, which is why I'm going to go with Akil Baddoo, $3,500. Yes, the price is ridiculous for a guy that's only played 4 games, but in those 4 games, he's had a hit in all of them. There's a good chance he'll play against a righty here in Zach Plesac. He gave up 8 hard hit balls the last time that the Tigers played the Indians, and Akil Baddoo didn't play in that game. But if he played, I guarantee you the guy would have had a hit the way Zach Plesac was throwing the ball. He has shown an incredible ability to see the ball. He's laid off some great pitches. He's making a lot of contact. He's making a lot of good contact. His expected batting average over 400 right now, which proves that this is a legit thing, that he hasn't really been getting lucky at the plate. He is talented. He is good. I don't know how he was like the 22nd ranked prospect on the Tigers, but look, I think that he might even hit 6 in this game. The way he's been hitting, you cannot ignore him at 3,500. Also was paying attention a little bit to Miles Straw at 2,800 against Sean Manaea. He's had a hit in each of the last 3 games against Manaea. He ended up walking 3 times, but in that game, he did get caught stealing. So I'm a little scared. I don't want to give him as my pick, but I would definitely take a look at Miles Straw at 2,800 if you want a little bit of a cheaper option, because he's been getting on base And he steals bases. The speed is real, and he almost stole one against the lefty, which is pretty impressive. So, but yeah, I'm going to go with the Kill Badu, 3,500.
All right, Kenny, let's put our sportsbook hats on, okay? Favorite bet on the DK Sportsbook for MLB, what is it going to be?
Well, I did just mention this game. I'm going with the Oakland A's here, plus 148. I was on the Astros last night. The thing about the A's is that they're actually hitting the ball okay. They're 9th in contact rate. They're 11th in barrels per plate appearance. The matchup last night just wasn't good. Christian Javier might end up being the best pitcher on the Astros when it's all said and done this year, taking over that role held by Zach Greinke. Lance McCullers, I feel like he's in the middle of this rotation. He's obviously very slider happy. I think he's very hit and miss. When you look at the pitching matchup, Sean Manaea historically owned the Astros. He didn't have a great start last time out against them at the beginning of the season. Oakland is significantly better against righties last year than lefties. And you saw the bats for the Astros kind of slow down a little bit last night. Cole Irvin was a lefty for Oakland, and he's really bad. But they were really struggling to score runs off him and get hits. I kind of think that might turn a little bit here. And maybe the Astros start to cool off the bats. Sean Manaea could be the guy to do it. He's the best pitcher on the A's. And Lance McCullers had a 4.61 expected ERA last year. So I'm not totally sold on the fact that he's going to shut down this A's lineup that is just beginning to heat up here. I think that the A's bats get enough across the plate, and they win here, plus 148.
All right, Julian, where are you going for your best bet?
So I was between a couple things here, but let's have some fun. I'm going to go a little bit opposite Kenny, although we could both win these. I'm going to go the Astros on the first 5. I've played the Astros in the first 5 a couple times this year. It's worked out. They've been the best team against the run line, one of the best teams to bet on in any capacity so far. And Oakland's been on the other side. That's going to change. Oakland's not going to be a basement team. They're going to get better, just like we talked about with Rendon and Freeman, etc. But Sean Manaea, I think, has gone downhill a little bit recently. Historically, if you go way back, he's done well against the Astros. He obviously got lit up the first time around that he saw them this season. I think that the Astros at home against a lefty are going to get some runs going early like they did last night, like they have overall this season. So even if it's another 2-0 cover in those first 5 innings, I think we could see something along the lines of 2-1, 3-1, 4-2. We could see some runs in this game. McCullers isn't perfect, but I think he'll do a decent enough job with an ice cold Oakland lineup. I don't think all those bats are going to get hot at once, considering how cold they all are. Maybe a couple of them get going, but I think the Astros will have the lead in this one after 5 innings.